Flyover State of Film was shot in front of a live studio audience.
Howdy ho, neighborino! Welcome back to another Flyover State of Film Halloween edition. As always, my mom warned me that the devil would be pretty. With me, we got Brian, we got Joe, and we got TJ, who apparently fucking forgot that we were doing Halloween
Pretty sorry, my man.
extravaganza.
I woke up feeling weird. I was in Cincinnati this weekend.
Oh, did you eat the Skyline chili? Because that'll do you.
Yeah, it was like something weird. Like I was out there in the middle of the night.
Skyline's just bad, guys.
It's just bad.
Yeah, checking out the Ohio sky, and I ran. I don't know what it was, but I don't want to talk about it. I don't feel.
Did you go sightseeing on your favorite locations of Airborne?
You know what?
You did. He did.
I tried.
Oh no!
I do. I wanted to, but with the pandemic right now, I was a little scared to go out. But yeah, you move it on. Yeah.
All right. So, as you guys know, every year we fucking do Halloween extravaganza. We discuss movie franchises, and this year we got Hatchet for Joe. We got Final Destination for Brian. We got Underworld for TJ. Are you good?
Yeah.
Do you want to keep recording?
Do you want
to hit a pause?
Do you need to eat a little something? Maybe settle you out, or?
No, I mean, if I just step away for a second, nothing. Just go.
All right, just cut this.
Moving to a new city and stuff. Your immune system might be fucked up.
Do you want me to start over? Should we
take some
Airborne? No, the intro's great. I'll cut all this out. Just keep going.
Right. Yeah. And I'll have the classic Alien franchise. I'm gonna be discussing.
No.
Okay. Fine. I'll talk about.
That's going to be a spin-off podcast where I cover every movie in depth. Each one of you comes on. We do one entry together. But
obviously, I'm on the Prometheus episode.
That's what we're going to fight. Who gets to be on the Prometheus episode?
Oh,
TJ's going to go get the
Flyover.
TJ's going to take a shit. So
Flowers.
While TJ's gone, I'm going to use this moment while we're waiting on him to indulge and welcome everybody to the newest iteration of the DVD Bunker. Anybody regular watchers might notice I'm in a new location. I've achieved a lifelong dream of a permanent home for my DVDs, and
yes,
very excited about it.
Chris Stuckman, huh? Shit on
First of all, Chris Stuckman wishes his collection was eclectic as mine.
Brian, might I say the symmetry you did with the shelving is quite lovely.
Yeah, it's visually pleasing.
Thank you. I appreciate that, guys. That does my heart good. It took me a long time, more than anything, just to wait for the shelves to be in stock. More than anything.
All right. So TJ. Oh wait, wasn't TJ back?
We lost him again.
He's dying.
All right. So we did a horror trivia where Brian and Joe went down to the wire,
as we normally do with trivia.
And TJ just did nothing. So I'm gonna do it in order of the champion, which was Joe. Joe got to pick from the slasher category, and he wound up with 4 movies. And if you don't know his costume, you probably are missing out with some fun slasher fun.
Mr. Crowley.
Mr. Crowley.
Yeah, right. Like these movies are these are good movies, but their budget is way too low to ever license a fucking Black Sabbath or a Ozzy song. So you knew you were never going to hear Mr. Crowley in these ones.
And that's all I wanted to hear. But we'll get into that. But what were my other choices? Do you remember?
It was Prom Night and
I am an animal.
Oh,
oh my God! It's Teen Wolf.
Oh,
he's a lichen.
Each wolf.
I felt so weird all day today, and I was just like, I thought I got bit by something in Cincinnati. I don't know what it was. I think it was just like all the Trump supporters. Somebody bit me in the ass. Now I'm feeling it. Let's go.
So are you saying that the dad from Teen Wolf is a Trump supporter?
Obvious. Have you seen that fucking movie?
Yeah, it seems pretty clear.
Got it. Yeah. Not a big deal. All good.
That's actually a legit cool costume. All right. So with that acting, please give us an award. Everything was fake.
I think that's going to get us our Webby, guys, right?
Thank you, Webby. Thank you. So Joe, you had Hatchet Prom Night. You had Hatchet Prom Night and Wrong Turn, and you correctly picked Hatchet. So how about you introduce the people and us to your Hatchet marathon?
Adam Green's Hatchet. And so I won't recap every single one, but I'll run through them a little bit. It stars Kane Hodder of Jason fame, and I'd say this is his premiere vehicle. It is Kane Hodder. He plays himself, or not himself, but his dad. He plays Victor Crowley's dad, and also plays Victor Crowley, who I'm supposed to be.
Oh yeah.
3 of them here, along with Kane Hodder as Jason, and but it's basically Redneck Friday the 13th. That's just the best way to describe it. It's about an abused child. It's about an abused, deformed child bullied, who died.
Right, not abused because his daddy loved it.
His dad loves
Lord knows his daddy loved it.
And he's biracial, we find out, which is just hysterical.
Whoa.
Because it's played by Kane Hodder, and he's just white clearly in the first
one. How many Jesus was he?
What?
4, I think.
Okay.
7, 8, Goes to Hell, and X.
Yes.
This is where he shines, though.
I actually watched his doc on Shudder. It's kind of an interesting story, but he's really butthurt about not being in Freddy vs. Jason. Anyway, but Hatchet, really fun. The first one stars the Matrix dude from Grandma's Boy.
Yeah.
I don't know his name. I feel like he was in a shit ton of movies in 2007 when this came out. And
one of the Girls Gone Wild style girls that are in this is the
oh my god, yes,
is the girl that is in the Addams Family at the camp with Wednesday.
Yeah,
the super preppy girl.
I didn't
it
know.
Always weirds me out that that's the same girl.
My wife instantly the first time we were watching this, she's like, "Isn't that the girl from Family Values?" It was so instant. I was like, "What the fuck?"
She's got a good eye. She's got a good eye for that thing.
Yeah.
Because so really, the first one starts off as a couple of bros on. It looks like they're trying to get over their one friend's breakup on on Mardi Gras, and for some reason, the one guy's like, "I'm not. What do you guys are I'm sick of just partying, looking at tits all week. I want to go do something else." And it's like, well, man, I got news for you, buddy. But anyway, so they go on this tour. You meet this whole franchise is riddled with horror, staple icon type people.
Yep.
It starts off with Robert Englund getting killed.
Yeah, I always forget Robert Englund's in the beginning of the first one. He's the dad who gets murdered, right?
And Tony Todd is the vessel to that
that's fucking sick.
Has to do with
and then in the sequels, the lead girl is replaced by horror icon Danielle Harris.
Yeah, so that's what I'm going to get to is, so then this one, it has your whole final girl thing, and they battle, because these movies are quick. They're an hour 20 minutes, and when they end, they don't have a epilogue or anything, they just cut right after the last kill, and everyone ends the same like that. But if you cut out each credits and just splice them all together, it's one continuous movie, the first 3.
Oh, they never stop?
They never stop. They pick up
nice.
after. But
and the way they explain, and the thing about Victor Crowley that is that he's also a ghost. He's like a Jason psycho killer, but he's also a ghost. So anything you do to him, any damage, then he can just come back looking the same again. He doesn't have to you don't have to show damage. He can just basically come back as the same. Because they like burn all his hair off and they like hack him up a bunch of times, and then he just comes right back. He's kind of confined to this one swamp, but he's also like literally unkillable.
That's a good point.
Yeah, because I've only seen the first one, and it's a blast.
This is what I say with the sequels is I honestly thought 2 and 3 were pretty redundant. They were the same deal. I actually liked 4, even though
yeah, I remember not loving 4, but I think I've watched it once, so I need to go back and revisit it.
It goes harder into the goofiness. Angela from Sleepaway Camp is like the publicist.
Right.
Q from Impractical Jokers is in it. But it still finds this low.
I love they bring back that one actor as his own twin brother. That's a great bit.
I think I just like how it changed because 2 reminded me a lot, and 3 has the same thing. Although Adam Green wrote apparently the whole thing as a trilogy, that's why it's continuous. But 2 reminds me so much of and 3 of just the trope, the setup that The Descent 2 does. Where it's like we got to go back.
We got to go back in,
to kill him, to find out. We need to bring the person who was there to show us around, and like, it's
so. So what was
love
your
a horror movie that continues right from? I'm on the record as I'm a big fan of that.
Oh, okay. See, I always just
like a horror sequel that follows right up to the last one. I always like when they do that.
Hatchet does that very well. And I'll say this is our most gory of any of what we're talking.
That's what that was my question. So how much fun did you have? Because the reason why I added it to the list is I found the first one to be filled with like fucking blast kills. Like it's just like the reason why you watch these movies are the kills. So what were one of your favorite kills? Or
when he's fucking pulling the intestines out and it's just like links of sausage basically. That, and then I think this is in 2 or 3, but someone just gets picked clean right in half and their face just separates and it's so stupid.
I like in the first one he like peels the lady's head back, right? He like does the head peel. And then he does in the first one too. He has the belt sander where he like just belt sands somebody's face off. That might be it's in one of them for sure.
It's so gruesome.
To be honest with you, I watched them all.
That's one thing that
they kind of went together.
mine and Joe's franchises have a couple things in common. They both have Tony Todd, and they both have extreme gore.
And
I got some good gore. Joe and I have Robert Ingram.
That's true.
He showed up in a Lake Placid. Like one of my favorite also things is some of the kills in these movies. They're literally like they'll show the kill and then they'll cut away to a tree and it's just clearly someone throwing a pane of blood. Like and it's 100% on purpose. Like one of my favorite not even Easter eggs, like my ears perked up, was in the sequel. They gather all the hunters together and they're talking about the legend of Victor Crowley and like, you know, is it real, blah blah blah. And someone goes, oh, down in so and so my cousin was talking about Leslie Vernon, and I'm like, that's a fun like nod. Like the directors are definitely friends. And
I feel like one of the reasons I was a fan of both of these movies is because like I saw them advertised on each other's DVD. You know, I don't know which one of them I saw first, but I feel like maybe I rented Leslie Vernon and saw like Hatchet, like coming soon for Hatchet, and then like
I think that's on the
found out later that the directors like know each other or they like met as under the production company or whatever the reason was.
Well, weirdly enough, before I watched Hatchet, just because it was on Shudder, I watched that Kane Hodder doc, and they spent a decent amount of time talking about Hatchet. And like Adam Green was just like, yeah, I wrote it for Kane Hodder, and we never thought we'd get him.
So,
and he does a fire stunt, like, because that's, you know, since he was burned, like that's his thing to just be fearless with the fire. But yeah, it's worth the watch. I think if you
Can I ask a question, Joe?
War and personally, I have more fun with. Oh yeah, in a sec, I have more fun with this than I do like most of the Jasons. But maybe that's just been. But they're the same. Literally, it's redneck Friday the 13th. What's up?
So you said that the first 3 have a continuing story. Is there like a conclusion? And where does the 4th fall into the world?
I don't think we really hit the whole like the kind of plot either. It's like Victor Crowley kills this Robert Englund and another guy, and it turns out to be a dad and a brother of this girl. So she's the one. She's like going out to find her daddy, and then it turns into Danielle Harris in 2 and 3.
So I like Danielle Harris better, by the way.
Well, yeah, because she's Danielle Harris. She's awesome.
She's a gem, yeah.
So anyway, I just want to say that the first girl, original, she's okay, but yeah, that's what I said. Where the plot is this girl's going in there, and it turns out her father was one of the bullies of Victor Crowley, so there's a connection.
He like basically caused his death. Like they like were throwing firecrackers at his house and it burned it down, and his dad ends up accidentally axing him in the forehead. It's pretty great.
Right there, right in the center of that vagina.
Yeah.
But anyway, that it's crazy because I don't even the first 3 but the conclusion really is just another face-off. Like every one of these movies has a face-off, and it's her, one other person, and someone sacrifices themselves to kill Victor Crowley, and then it kind of restarts in the next movie.
Was this movie originally made for like the Sci-Fi Channel, or was it made for something?
It feels like it.
Yeah, like
I think it was.
That was an honest question.
It's like it was right at the tail end of straight-to-video movies. Like I don't know if this thing ever got a theatrical release. You know,
I think
2007 is when this comes out.
Right. I think if I read correctly, it did, and it was immediately like it was just people just did not like it except for the midnight crowds.
Well, right. When I saw the trailers, it was literally sold on this is an old school slasher. We're going back to basics. This is
nudity, gore,
horror,
violence.
like 80s style. And some of the other movies that were on your slasher franchise, like I did watch the first 2 Prom Nights. I watched like some Slumber Party Massacres this holiday season. So I was definitely in the vibe, and Hatchet is like 1,000 times better than all of them.
And then the 4th one, just called Victor Crowley.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, is it because it's not the same writer, right?
It's Adam Green again.
It's the same writer. Okay.
So what they do in spoilers, this all been spoilers, so sorry, guys.
I think everybody knows this show. First of all, we're bad at explaining things. And second of all,
I'm sorry, guys. This is...
And there's no clips. Sorry.
Yeah, there's no clips. Sorry, Mom.
Is Victor Crowley...
I feel attacked right now.
You meet a group of amateur filmmakers, and one of the dudes who's playing like a survivor from the original, and I'm not even explaining it. He wrote a book about his experience, and these amateur filmmakers want him in the movie, but then they fucking go back all of a sudden everyone's back in the.
It's the Halloween 2018. We're podcasters now, and we gotta document what happened.
Yeah, but they're not podcasters. They're
no, of course they're not.
Trying to make like they're trying to actually make a trailer to sell to a studio.
Oh.
And anyway, and then the same shit kind of happens, and but like that one just has some fun little that person or that kill. It's all about the kills, guys. It's hard to know without the kills.
And practical effects, like big on practical effects for this franchise.
So how would you rank them?
How I would rank them, it would go 1. I like 4, 2, and 3.
Oh wow! See, I really need to go back and revisit 4, I guess.
But at the same time, I think
1, 4, 2, and 3.
But I think I'm overselling 4. I want to say because 2 to 4, I watched them all within a day, so it became very like I think the difference of movies.
And the Hatchet movies are a little samey, like we said. They're more about the violence.
Yeah, so I think the difference of the movie made me go, "Oh, okay, I'm back."
Well, I was gonna say, people will be like, if you rank Fast and Furious, you like Fast and Furious 1, Fast and Furious 5, and then you can pick and choose between the rest. Like the difference.
What I will also say is, across the board, the acting is atrocious in every one of them. It's on purpose. It's on purpose.
Yeah. Well, especially like
you got a lot of non-actors too, right? Like stunt people and stuff.
What you do? Yeah, there's a few stunt people. And then you also just have people who clearly haven't acted in like fucking.
Yeah,
10
but the Girls Gone Wild ones, I think one of them is actually a porn star.
Yes.
And you kind of understand why she's acting how she's acting.
Yeah. Talk to me. What's her name?
I'm not clear.
Go on. Let me know her name.
I'm always very sketchy. The people who know the names of porn stars.
Yeah.
Shout out, Reed. I love you.
Like
Bella
4.
Danger.
Just off the top. Oh yeah, that's
Mm-hmm.
So Joe, you got
sus.
anything else for us, buddy?
You know what? At the moment, I'm sorry to now week as disappoint. It has that same across the board. This was just a fun watch.
Right. It's a tight, if you like a good slasher, if you like blood and gore, and you wanted to see some like real cool practical kills, this is a good franchise for you, right? I mean, that's what I would say about it.
Oh, 100%. So this was actually your first watch, right?
Oh yeah, I never saw.
You hadn't seen any of these, right?
No, I think like something calling it the Holy Grail of slasher films is a little misleading.
I mean,
you gotta sell it, bro.
if it's supposed to be a slasher film that's after like the Renaissance in the 80s, yeah, why not? You know what I mean?
Like I said, I watched a lot of those classic 80s ones this year, and I'm big into horror franchises and always have been, and I think that's fair. I think it's definitely, as far as like an homage goes to that era, top notch.
Oh, it's top notch. I just meant the Holy Grail is a little.
I mean, Holy Grail's that's
you gotta sell the movie. You gotta sell the movie.
All right. So thank you, Joe.
Yeah. Who do we got next, Brian?
Wait. You know what? We didn't even give props. TJ had a great intro. Obviously, Joe, your costume always on theme with your movie. Yeah. Very cool. Jusef, your Bumblebee Man costume is killing it, dude. I love it.
Arriba!
I'm gonna put a clip in here just for Brian's mom.
All right, that's the show. That's the show.
All right, so like I said in the beginning,
sure to vote.
Like I said in the beginning, we based the order according to the trivia. Brian got second with 4 points. TJ got third with 0 points. So we're moving on to Brian.
Oh,
Brian had the supernatural category with
nice.
He had the choices of Insidious, Phantasm, and Final Destination, and he picked correctly by picking Final Destination.
This is a no-brainer for me. Like, just a little backstory. Final Destination, the first one, came out when I was in high school during the post-Scream horror renaissance. I loved it in the theater. I was working at Blockbuster when it got released on video, I got to watch it early and often. I like introduced it to people as often as I could, and then when it started getting sequels, I was super psyched. So like, I'm in it from day one with this franchise. I am gonna, I hate to do this, but I'm gonna uncostume just a touch because I have notes and things. I want to be able to see them, so I'm gonna take off my. I know it's me under here. You guys didn't know you thought a real.
What are we doing?
It was Nick Mundy.
Brian, what did you?
No.
Special guest Nick Mundy, guys. So I took less notes on the first two because I'm so super familiar with them. Like I said,
I should have took notes.
Real quick on the first two, just like a breezy overview of at least the first one. Devon Sawa, our hero icon, plays Alex, right? I think his name's Alex. He's getting ready to go on a trip to Paris with his class. He's on the plane. He takes off. There's an explosion. Everybody dies. He wakes up from a dream. Oh, it was a premonition. He freaks out. Him and some of the people get kicked off because they start tussling because he's being obviously he's flipping out. There's people getting involved. So a couple students and a couple teachers get off.
I don't interrupt you because I know that's not something you would ever do to anybody.
No.
Rude. Just to say, yeah. Has anyone ever checked their fucking flying tray when they got on a plane just because of this movie? Like, you get on, you do the thing, and you pull it down, and you're just like, oh, okay, it's good.
I don't fly often enough to have done that.
Continue.
So the plane doesn't go down. A couple people get off. Then the plane does take off, and then it blows up while the students and the teachers watch. They're there in the terminal. From there, everybody's freaked out, and then a couple months later, like I forget how long it is, after they've buried all the other students that died in the horrible wreck, everybody thinks Alex is a freak, but then weird accidents start claiming the lives of his friends. I was trying to think about how to talk about this franchise, because it's really, you're talking about one that's all about the kills. This franchise is all about, like, how are people going to die, when, how's it going to culminate, what's going to happen.
Yeah, I
So
feel
thought
like
about-
it had the same effect as Saw did. Like the first one is it obviously has a fantastic kills, but it's more about the drama or the like the death is after us, and then the rest were like, look at this amazing kill we got.
I think
we'll get to that when I get when I talk about 3 and 4 specifically. We'll get to that a little bit, but yeah, definitely in this one, like, you have a real mystery element. You know, people are dying. Alex is getting these kind of like premonitions. They're not like the thing he had on the plane, but he's kind of getting like weird vibes. I wanted to talk about, I guess, like, you have to talk about the different kills. Sean William Scott's in this. That's what I was going to say. So first his friend dies with the fake hanging, where he, like, it's always a Rube Goldbergian series of events where, like, one thing leads to the next, a little accident here and there. And a lot of the fun of these movies is, like, wondering how that's going to play out and what the next little thing is going to be, or which one of they'll set up like 2 or 3 things that could be an issue, and you're like, what's going to actually be the one that gets them.
I feel like this movie kind of like drops the ball, like later in the movies. I mean, sure, talk about that, but like this one's like, when that guy does that accidental killing, it's because people think he got off the plane but left his brother on the plane,
right?
Like that weird thing where, like, that makes sense.
He's got the guilt. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This is the one I like. This, I love the setup for this. They're great with the tension in this first one. This is like the first big kill. What I don't like is at the very, like, basically water leaks from the toilet and he slips on it, and then after that you see the water go back into the toilet, and that's one of the few times in the franchise they ever break the, like, it could just be a series of coincidences. You know what I mean? Like, I like the idea that it could be an accident, even though we know it's a malevolent force or whatever. And that's one of the few times in the whole franchise that breaks. It's the very first kill. And maybe it's specifically meant to be like, we want you to know in this first kill that it's a force at work. But I always kind of liked it better with a little bit of mystery. Like, we know it is, but also leave it open, you know?
They could edit that. If you edited that out, it would give much more tension to the rest of the movie.
Right, that's what I always thought, you know. But I'm, you know, again, I still am a big fan of this first one. It's
also a big franchise. I mean, there's 5 of them. I swore there was more, but big franchise where you are not following any main character through the 5 series. Like in Saw, like, you have people that, except for Tony Todd, you have people that come in and out. And, you know, they're kind of there, have part of the kills. That Final Destination, I mean, they're all over by the end of the movie. Like, they all meet their end.
Well, that's part of the franchise, is that the way they wrap up and how they, like, because that's kind of one of the ideas behind the franchise, is this, like, tying up of loose ends. So every movie kind of opens itself in its own way to having, you know what I mean, to either tying up or not tying up its own loose ends. So in the first one, you know, eventually they kind of, like, their friends are dying. They go to Tony Todd. Tony Todd's like a local mortician / creep. He tells them that if you can, like, save somebody, it will skip them and move to the next person. Because the way the deaths happen is always in the order they happen in whoever had the premonition's premonition. Because every movie has a protagonist who has a vision at the beginning.
I mean, the first one does such a cool job of showing you the map with the seating chart.
Yeah. One of my kind of, like, criticisms, especially of, like, 3 and 4, is they really hand wave the whole, I got on the internet, I looked up Flight 180 and the history of these people died in this series, and they always just are like, I take that at face value and I'm good to go. Like, we don't have to spend a lot of time believing this. We just move on to who's going to die next and trying to figure out that part. We don't have to, like, get real committed to it. No. They really glad hand a lot of that away.
Yeah, that But I don't know that for the first one. I'm just still thinking about like what was it the teacher that goes.
I think that might be my favorite. I was trying to think. You said something about ranking the kills, and there's so many good ones. I thought maybe I would try to hit a favorite one per movie because I can't sit here and list every kill and every movie because there's a lot of really good ones. But I think the one with the teacher in the first one is one of my favorites. It's got a really great build, and every time there's so much escalation to it. There's these little steps each time. It gets a little bit worse for her, and things are just getting crazier and crazier. I really like that one a lot. Obviously, the Terry Chaney bus smash is an all-time classic. The girl steps off the curb and gets flattened by that bus. That's like an iconic one.
Yeah, there's a lot of kills. The first one with the teacher with all the knives is a blast. But one of my favorites is I think it's a glass that falls.
Oh, yep.
And it slices in half. Right?
Number two, no, it's just
in two, it's like a plate of glass and it smashes it just
flattens him, right?
It destroys him. It's so fucking
best
good.
Kills bracket we did was Final Destination 5, the gymnast one.
Yeah. Final Destination 5 has what I consider to be one of the all-time greatest deaths.
One, and then the one that just I don't even know if the movie was that great. No, it was, but the fucking tanning bed kill.
Oh yeah. They both.
That one is just so because they're just trapped. They're just trapped and burning. It's
really funny. I was watching. There was a behind the scenes featurette on the third one talking about that scene, and they talked specifically about how they wanted to use the nudity of we wanted to do that teen. It was the first time there's nudity in that franchise. It's the third movie, and they're like, we wanted to do that haha ooh teen naked girl thing, but then instantly make it so that it makes them more vulnerable and they're actually in more danger because they have more skin showing, and really turn it around. And I was like, I mean, not to say that I don't still feel like that's just finding a way around getting a naked girl in your movie. Good on you for putting the extra effort to come up with that.
Oh yeah, Lake Placid put a lot of effort for their nudity. But the other one that I love...
4 has your regular kind of nudity in it where it's just a girl on top of a guy and then he goes off to have a scene and she was just topless girl.
The other kill, real quick, the other kill that I really love is because it's kind of reminiscent of the first one with all the knives and all that bullshit. Is the guy that wins the lottery. And a lot of shit just keeps happening.
That's another good one that where they escalate the tension really.
So
there's a couple there's that kind of kill, and then they like to do the surprise kill, and they kind of alternate back and forth from each one. And some land a lot better than others. There's some that feel a little cheap. There's one in the fourth one where they do a lot of good tension building and stuff with this woman in a beauty shop, and then at the very, very end of the scene, a rock just gets shot out from under a lawnmower and hits her in the eye, and it's it just felt kind of it felt trying to be shocking, a surprise, but it was kind of weak,
Well, which I think my least favorite kill because it's so disappointing, but they tried to set it up. I actually don't remember exactly how he dies. I just remember being disappointed. Was in that the fifth one's the NASCAR one, right?
No, that's the fourth one.
Okay, and the fourth one, the racist guy's fate.
Yeah. This is the face of the franchise where they stopped even giving the characters names, and literally if you look them up on IMDb, it's racist MILF. That's the name of the character.
So him, racist, his kill is I forget what it was, but it's so disappointing compared to how terrible his character is.
It's not his one. I thought his was pretty good. It's he gets hooked by the hook on the back of a tow truck, and he's dragged on fire or something.
Yeah, it didn't. So, I wanted to
because he was trying to burn a cross because he's a movie racist.
So Brian, since we can't rank your favorite kill because there's so many, what is your favorite premonition out of the 5?
Oh, I was gonna say the favorite or inciting accident. The one that sticks with me the most, that I think about the most often, is the highway one and the trees.
Every time I'm behind a truck, I'm like, fuck
you see
this
a big
shit.
truck with a bunch of trees, you just instantly you can't help yourself.
Or just
but I'll tell you what, the one that I think is my favorite might be the roller coaster. I just it's underrated, and I love I don't know, like it's so fantastical.
I like the thematics too of like the roller coaster. Like how it's like a demon coaster or
all the branding stuff.
The branding, and then like the photo, like don't they do it by the photographs taken?
Right. Yeah. I wanted to talk a little bit about the different gimmicks because, like in the first one, you've got Alex and his premonitions, and then in the second one, Tony Todd gives him a different gimmick. Oh, we should say that basically every movie's set up the same, right? An accident is averted. There's one person who has a premonition. An accident is averted. There's some survivors. The survivors start dying off in the order they would have died off in the premonition, unless it's 2, and then it's reverse order of how they would have died in the premonition, because 2 is cleaning up accidents that were caused by 1. You come to find out that every person who is dying in 2 was someone who missed out on dying in an accident because of something that happened in 1. It's very complicated, but it actually makes it kind of cool, and it's actually why 1, 2, and 5 are the unofficial trilogy of this movie, because they're the ones that really like tie into each other strongly.
I saw 5 after I saw The Help. I did a double feature of The Help, and they were in the theaters at the same time.
Weird.
Of course.
And I was
very natural double feature to go see.
Yeah, I was like, The Help was so good, but I want to go see the final. And I went. I'll be honest, that ending of that movie, I think, makes that movie better.
I'll tell you what, and on rewatch,
such a good job.
I have so many notes we're never going to get to on these movies, but on rewatch, you really appreciate the fact, because like if you watch 3 and 4, like I said, they're real hand wavy about like somebody just gets on the internet, looks up Flight 180, and they know the deal about everybody, how it's going to happen, and they just 5 has to not only kind of not do that, but go out of its way to kind of keep your attention away from thinking about that. They bring back Tony Todd, and they have him in it again. He gives them a new idea, which is in the 5th one, it's you can like pass your death off to someone else. So if like you can kind of either kill someone or have somebody like kind of take your place and have an accident happen to them, you like steal their years and you get their life back. Tony Todd's premonitions in these movies are kind of iffy. In the first one, he tells them you can skip it, but that kind of seems to just come back around. It doesn't end, like you just eventually get back on the loop. His new life 1 and 2 seems to work. And I guess his 1 and 5 technically works because the guy who quote unquote steals years ends up finding out the guy who he stole years from had cancer, and then he gets crushed by a plane engine. So it's pretty dope.
Man, Tony Todd has to work.
Hey,
isn't the plane engine from the first one?
Well, right. That's the reason I love 5 so much, is that, like I said, they kind of divert your attention away from not realizing that they don't talk about Flight 180. And the reason is, at the very end, the resolution is when the kid thinks he's made it and he's about to go off and go get his dream chef job in Paris. He's on a plane, and it turns out to be Flight 180. The kids from the first, you see Devon Sawa getting in a fight, and they get dragged off the plane, and the plane takes off, and it blows up, and it kills and you realize that was actually a prequel. 5 is actually the beginning.
But what's awesome about it
pretty
too,
tight, actually, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, no, what's awesome too about it
took me by surprise.
It also hides technology so well. Like you're not
only
like
one guy with a flip phone, and that's about the only thing that's even close to drawing your attention to it.
Yeah, that's why. Because what was it? It was like 2011 or something like that came out.
Yeah, I'm really shocked they haven't tried to come back to that franchise yet.
They
will, but I'm surprised they've waited this long.
It'd be a Disney Plus special.
I guess.
Yeah, Blumhouse will probably shit one out.
Well, I mean, I'm sure The Help took all of its box office, so.
After 4, I'm kind of surprised we even got a 5th one, because it was pretty soundly kind of reviled. Although I think it was the same year, or like within a year of they were the 4th movie, and they were the Final Destination.
Mm-hmm.
And the Fast and Furious franchise dropped the. So they picked up Final Destination picked up a the.
I feel like both those franchises go hand in hand.
They just became Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
I think that also Final Destination, this is a really corny sentence, is a little more of a mature of these movies than they're given credit for. Like they're not as dumb.
Thinking man's.
Yeah, they're not as like lumped in with like you said, it's like of the screen genre, but they're the ones that do stand out.
they escaped that. They got to live on past the late 90s.
Props to a Flyover film, Urban Legends. That's just a Scream ripoff, and they had one sequel.
Definitely the first one of these just feels like it was made in the late 90s. It has that post-Scream vibe, but you're right, they're operating on a different level, and like the creativity that was in them, I think, set them apart. There's a lot of like surprises and thoughtful, like kind of like intricate little details put into the deaths. Since we're not going to rank them, is there any other deaths?
Can we talk about in the first one? The art that the girlfriend is doing.
Well, first of all, we can talk about how her name was Clear Rivers, which has got to be like the dumbest name I've ever
forgot about that.
Is that Ali Larder?
Yes.
Yeah.
I had a huge
shout out South Jersey, Cherry Hill.
Between this, Varsity Blues, and she's in a couple other things in the late 90s. Whew.
TJ, is from the same town as her.
Yep. Went to the same middle school, the same high school. Never met her, but you know what I mean. Hit me up, Ali.
Sure.
Clear Rivers. I forgot that was her name.
Yeah, it's pretty dumb.
I just thought
and her art is also dumb. I know we should be like, express yourself. I'm fucking painted as Ned Flanders, so I shouldn't be judging. But that art is shit as fuck.
The head with the head on the spring and stuff.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Well, she's a real like manic pixie dream girl kind of thing. She's like artsy, and she's like real. She's a cool. I won't say manic pixie dream girl, but she's like a cool chick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't exist.
Oh,
that's not a thing.
Let's clip this, TJ. Clip this and send it to Laura.
Y'all married. Everyone's married.
Was there anything else? I was going to ask if there were any other shout-outs to specific kills from any of the other movies. 4 has a lot of really crappy 3D effects because they're really trying to cash it on. There's like some 3D clip art and shit in it. Most of it's kind of sucky.
What's the one in the fast food lane?
That's in 3, where the guy gets the engine, like the fan of the engine takes off the back of dude's head. That's a pretty good one. Oh, speaking of 3... this bummed me out. So I had them all on DVD, and I just got the Blu-ray, so I got rid of my DVDs. The special edition of 3 had this cool feature where you could like pick and choose the death. You could be like, do you want them to?
Oh.
And I thought, I was like, well, surely that'll be on the Blu-ray too. It was not. And it bums me out. And the extra, and every death scene had like an alternate, and it was really cool. And like, if I'd have known, I'd obviously kept my DVD. I should have like paid closer attention. But so if you've got your Final Destination 3 DVD out there, physical media matters. Hang on to it. That's a really cool feature.
Hey, I found a local, movie exchange place. You want me to look to see if DVD's there?
No, I'm not going to buy back a DVD I got rid of like 6 months ago.
I'm just trying to be a good neighbor,
I think the second one has the best kills out of all of them. It's like the elevator one, the kid
the guy with the fence. I love the barbed wire fence one.
Yes.
Isn't the guy from the lottery in the second one? Or am I?
Yeah, that's in the second one.
Yeah, right?
Too.
Yeah.
I think mine's what I'm going to say. If I had to pick one overall, what movie had the best, it would be that one.
So rank your movies, baby.
Also, honorable mention the LASIK surgery kill. That one gets me.
Fuck that kill.
Yeah,
I like that. That's too real for me. That's why some of these Final Destination movies kind of fuck me up, because some of the kills get a little bit too
personal,
too accessible and real, and I'm like, yep, I can't go to.
That's also
LASIK now.
That's kind of a payoff to the dentist office scene in 2,
where the thing falls in his mouth and he
falls in his mouth and stuff. Yeah,
dude, and that's why my teeth look like this.
If I had to rank these, let's see. I would, talking about it just now, I would be like, well, 1's the originator, but because all these movies have the exact same plot.
Yeah.
And because I like the way that 2 is set up, so it's structured to go backwards to like kind of close up the gaps that were caused by 1, and I like that aspect. I think I would rank 2 as the best one. It would be 2, 1, 5, 3, 4, probably.
Wow, 5 getting up there. All right, baby, you got Satan. Do you got anything else in the tank for us?
No. Oh, there was one thing we were talking about, the new digs. I have all my movies. I have all my toys. There's one thing that I haven't found a place for yet, but I wanted to bring it up and show you guys. It's my wild, wild west. Joe got up to
Joe
leave.
laughed
He missed out.
Oh, baby.
I haven't found a place to put him yet. Don't worry, though. I mean, we'll get a good home for him.
Hey,
So.
I finally found Selma Hayek. I finally found full circle. I finally found Selma Hayek.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
Yeah, mine is in storage. The wife said I can put it in the house. So one of these days, Joe.
Nice.
You got the guy with the fucked up ear too. Bud Blath McGrath. I have to have freaking Kevin Kline.
Does he have his like alternate outfit where he has boobs?
Oh,
it's just him in his vest.
Are they sand boobs or the water boobs? You know, because it's different.
Which one feels more realistic?
Yeah. All right, Joe. So we're moving on to Teen Wolf. TJ's gonna give us some fatherly advice regarding his movies. Let me go. So TJ picked action horror. His options were Resident Evil, Blade, and Underworld. And I think he made the right decision with Underworld.
Honestly, there's no bad choices in this category.
Yeah,
I'll say that right
Resident Evil would have been more fun to make fun of, but Underworld is legit fun. So, how about TJ? Hit us up with your movies.
I think next to me and Brian's, I believe we had the biggest budgets of the horror films we picked today.
By far.
Mine's a little bit higher. Yeah, mine came out to like the around the era of like Matrix and like the real sci-fi CGI enforced films. This movie also is blue, black, and silver. Like that's about
almost exclusively. If this was a black and white movie, you would barely be able to tell the difference.
Yeah. Now there are 5 films in my franchise in Underworld. All Star, one of the greatest, Kate Beckinsale.
Yeah. How many times did you jerk off to this movie? This franchise.
That latex. It's heavenly.
So,
no offense to Carrie Ann Moss, but she kind of put her to shame. She kind of came out and was like, Trinity ain't shit. I do black leather. This is my house.
Kate Beckinsale looks better today somehow and still looks great then.
That happens when you're rich and you have surgeons and all that fun stuff. TJ, so that's why your hands are hairy?
Yeah. Let's give some credit to Scott Speedman though. Right? That's him, Scott Speedman.
Can I real quick, can I give an admission here? For a long time, I thought the guy that Scott Speedman was the same dude who's the lead singer from Creed.
Oh my God, he looks so much like.
I thought it was the same guy, and legitimately, it was like, hey, remember when they tried to put the Creed guy in a movie and it didn't work? Nobody cared.
Flip in right here.
All right, put that picture of both of them up, TJ. Come on, my mom doesn't know who these guys are. Help her out.
With these movies, there's 5 of these fucking films. Underworld 1 was probably one of the. I saw this in theaters multiple fucking times. I own it. I think it's one of the greatest ones. It's very like a Romeo and Juliet, vampires versus werewolves type of thing, to where
like such an obvious, good idea.
Yeah, but it also kind of like it fits on the edge of it too. Yeah, where it's like, okay, so there's werewolves and vampires have been in war for years. We'll get into this when we get to the third into the franchise, but werewolves are kind of like the poor, yeah, like the lower of
they're brutish.
Yes, and then the vampires are the high class. They're rich. They have all the money. There's no any minority.
Werewolves come from shithole country.
Yeah. So
they're hairy.
I would be a wolf. Is that what you're saying?
They're like those goddamn hairy Libanians.
Yeah. This movie starts with Kate Beckinsale, who's basically
DJ.
Yeah.
If this podcast was an Underworld, I would be the only werewolf.
You would be the only werewolf. That is highly correct. Joe would be the high class vampire. Brian would be his henchman, and I'd be like that werewolf. No, I'd be familiar. I'd be like a human who just kind of like goes to the vampire.
DJ, you need to love yourself, brother.
You'd be a werewolf.
Yeah, I mean, I would try really hard.
I would kick him out of the pack.
Yeah, so basically Kate Beckinsale is like a half-breed, essentially, where she wasn't a full-blood vampire. She was turned when she was a young child from one of the head vampires, Bill Nighy, I think his name is.
Bill Nighy hamming it the fuck up in the.
Yeah, Bill Nighy is in every single fucking film. We'll get to that later, but so basically they're chasing this guy who has some type of blood Corvinus, or whatever the fuck it is, type of thing. Where it's Scott Speedman, he's a doctor, he's like a blood doctor, whatever the fuck he is.
I like the lore. I'm not gonna lie, I like the lore of these movies.
Hi guys. I only watched the first hour of the first one about 2 hours ago, and I had to turn it off.
Okay.
Is Michael Sheen also in this movie?
Hell yeah, he is.
Okay. I was like, I think that's the guy from Twilight.
Which is wild.
He's
It's wild to see him. He's all ripped. Like, this is the first thing I ever saw him in, and I didn't realize he was a squirrely little Englishman because he's like a ripped up badass in these.
Sorry, I don't get into it, but I was like, I think that's Michael Sheen. And I'm like, the vampire from Twilight?
Yeah.
Like, if you watch, not to know about Twilight, but if you watch Twilight, he's the only good part of the Twilights because he's Michael Sheen.
He's in Twilight?
He's like the
he's like the Bill Nighy of Twilight.
Lucian is the shit. Leave him alone.
All right, TJ, go ahead.
So basically, we get into this whole thing where the werewolves are tracking down this guy who's a doctor. It's something about his blood, something like that. The vampires are also tracking. Kate Beckinsale is known as a death dealer. I think what they call her.
She's a hunter. She
just kills lichens.
Yeah, that's about it.
The cool thing they call werewolves.
Yeah.
So they have the whole war. He gets bit by a lichen or attacked by a lichen. He's dying. She bites him to save him. There's this weird hybrid like thing that happens when she does that. He becomes like
a blue lichen,
essentially.
Well, it's because he had that. The reason they were looking for him is he has this special blood that allows the vampire and werewolf genes to like mix and make this new hybrid.
Yes.
And it all has this like complicated history of like there were these brothers who one became an immortal and one became a vampire and one became a werewolf. They were like the first of their kind. It's the lore of this movie is kind of cool.
It's great. No, wait. So that was the end goal of Martin Sheen, because I know he was the one hunting the dude. So he wanted a mix. That was his.
I think he wanted to like unite the breeds.
Unite them, because of him and
unite the right. Gotcha.
Because so fast forward to this, bang, bang, bang. He gets turned. There's a hybrid. Victor, who's built he doesn't like the combination of the bloodlines. They have this giant fight where Kate Beckinsale has to turn her back on the vampire covenant, and then she obviously falls in love with him. I'm sure there's a sex scene in this one, or is it the second one?
I think it's in the second one.
Cool. We'll wait for that one. But they do that. There's a big fight at the end. Bill Nighy gets cut in half, but manages to show up in every single film after this fucking movie.
Well, there's always like flashbacks. These are vampires, you know.
Yeah.
They've been around a long time.
Yeah, this is one of those things where like you could watch this movie. There's not necessarily too many horror aspects of it other than being werewolves and vampires. It's more of an action thriller romance. Like it's weird.
It's action horror. Like the category said.
And Scott Speedman is fucking shit. Right? And then the second one comes
rough, right? Like
the second one is like they dive deeper into the vampire like lore, where Victor and his brothers, where it's like William, Marcus, and Victor.
Right.
And Marcus is another vampire who's badass as fuck. And he's
well, he's like they're all the originators.
Yes.
Like there were three brothers, they all are immortal, but one is just like an immortal human. Yeah. One was the first vampire and one is the first werewolf. And I love the idea that the werewolf dude.
In the beginning. The first one they said no, it's Marcus's turn to wake up.
Yeah. And
the second one they wake him up.
Like yeah, that has to do with the hierarchy of vampires, but one of them, Marcus, is the original. Like, yeah.
In the first one, you get that weird Godfather thing where a vampire turns on a vampire to get a werewolf like thing. And Olive Garden is really dope. It's great.
I love in the second one the werewolf, the guy who's like the original werewolf. If he bites you, there's no like waiting for the moon. You immediately change to a werewolf. It's like such a hyper strain of the virus. You just like turn into a monster immediately.
Okay. But like we're getting to like the good part of these movies.
Tell me about the Blood Wars.
No, that's a long way off.
No. That's 5, right? No, that's 3.
Yeah,
that's 4 or 5. It's one of the 2.
Yeah.
It's the last.
I've only seen the 3.
Yeah,
that's the last.
This one you really get Michael really like showing his powers and what he can do as being like the hybrid.
Yeah.
Kate Beckinsale is still like it's a weird thing where she was like the hero in the first one, they flipped the fucking script where like Michael has to protect her every fucking second of this movie, which is something that kind of fucked me up on this one. And like,
but only till the end. At the end, like, they kind of Mia Jovovich from Resident Evil her at the end.
Yes. And then, like, get like. No, go ahead, Joe.
Sorry, don't they want to do an Alice versus Resident Evil versus Underworld movie? I think that is a script.
I think they're rebooting Resident Evil now. I think
they are, but at one point, I think they wanted.
I think it was in the same vein as Ash versus Jason versus Freddy. Everybody started throwing the same shit around.
Plus, the guy that dude and Mia Jovovich, they're doing Monster Hunter now, which looks dope. I don't care how stupid it looks. It looks tight.
MCG.
But like now you got like Scott Stevens.
No, she's not married to McGee. She's married to Paul W.S. Anderson.
Yeah, Paul W.S. Anderson.
The bad Anderson.
The one who's the Paul Anderson who is not the guy who made Boogie Nights.
The one who made Mortal Kombat, which
the one that doesn't know how to direct. Yeah.
Mortal Kombat.
Still his best movie. But yeah, this was. Welcome to Paul Anderson talk. We talk about
Event Horizon is his best movie.
He was
hands down facts.
And that ripped off the movie that I'm going to talk about later, Aliens. So go ahead, TJ. Go ahead with your movie.
Oh yeah. So the second one kind of just you really get the real facts of like the back lore, the vampires, just werewolves thing. But the next movie, which I think we'll get into rankings later, but I love this fucking movie, Rise of Lycans, which is a They Temple of Doom this. They put a fucking prequel as a third one.
And it's good.
It's great.
First of all, more Michael Sheen.
Yeah, you really get the real back story of like how werewolves are essentially slaves to the vampires.
Can I ask you a question, TJ? Am I misremembering? Doesn't Michael Sheen die in the second one, and that's why they do the prequel in the third?
I think he dies in the first
one. Yeah.
First one, all right.
He's the one who bites Scott Speedman and gives him his blood, so he gets the weird like combination of like the Corvinus and because I think he's a Corvin too. I'm pretty sure Sheen is a Corvin.
Yeah.
But the first movie is based on like Bill Nighy's love for Kate Beckinsale's character because you learn in this one that he sacrificed his daughter, who is a spitting image of Kate Beckinsale, because she fell in love with Lycan and got impregnated with him with his son. So you get the real. So
and it was Michael Sheen, right?
Yes. So the werewolves
played by Rona McDaniel, or is that her name?
I believe so.
Isn't she from like Fast and the Furious?
But she does look a lot like Kate Beckinsale.
100% like her. And then like you get the whole like love story where like all werewolves are used as, which you've learned in lore before, where they're supposed to be protectors during the day of the werewolves while they're sleeping. You get that whole thing where basically vampires use werewolves as just the front line. You sacrifice yourself, you survive, great for you, but you're still living in the cage all fucking night. Eventually, Lucian, who is Sheen's character, falls in love with the vampire lord's fucking daughter. He gets her impregnated. Does the whole thing, releases all of his guys. There's the whole war back and forth, and then the daughter gets sacrificed to the son. This fucking movie, I think, I'm gonna rank him right now. I'm just gonna rank them right now because I don't give a shit about
we're in the third only.
I don't give a shit about the Awakening and Blood.
Well, because honestly, he's right. I fell off a franchise here too.
Yeah,
4 and 5 suck.
I stopped watching for this one.
Yeah. I watched 4, and then I didn't even see 5. So
5. Well, 5 is basically it's a continuation of 4 where it left off. But I'm gonna go. It has to go Underworld, Rise of Lycans, and then number 2. And then if you want to go 4 and 5, I don't give a shit what you do. It's one of those fucking things where I think Rise of Lycans
hard for me because I really like 2 also.
Yeah, 2's great, but 2 has won some of the best action in this franchise. But I think 3 has probably the best storyline.
I love when the vampire dude kind of goes hybrid and he gets like the big wings and shit too. Like there's some good monster shit in that one. Plus the big giant werewolf that is like impervious to M60 bullets. They're just like raining fire on this giant werewolf, and it does not phase him at all.
Werewolf too.
Is there a bigger cinematic moment in the entire franchise than Kate Beckinsale shooting the floor, cutting a hole?
Ooh, no, there's not. To be honest,
I would say like defining the superhero landing is even because like that was in the trailer. I remember the trailer to Underworld when she steps off. It's like she's in a bell tower and she steps off and drops to the ground and like barely breaks a sweat. That's it for me.
Right. If I'm gonna give a really small thing. So 4, basically they Logan her, they get some like blood. She finds she has a daughter. She's tracking her. The daughter's really strong. The 5th one, the daughter's super strong.
Right. She gets the just like he was a hybrid.
Yeah. And then humans are like the bad guys now.
Joe's throwing up the timeout sign.
Crowley has a question.
How does she not know she had a daughter?
It was a clone. It was like a clone bred.
Well, no, I was gonna say, didn't she get pregnant from the sex scene in 2?
She did, but then there's a surgery scene. We don't know what happens. We don't know if it's a clone or if it was taken out of her. It's weird.
Guess I'll just have to watch.
Questionable.
Sounds like bad writing, but who am I to say?
Yeah.
Who am I to judge?
Right, guys.
Go ahead, TJ.
Oh wait, am I ranking them? I'm going 1.
Well, no. I'm sorry. What was 5 about? What's Blood Wars about?
The daughter.
4 is like the daughter's super powerful, and then there's like a giant werewolf in that one. I remember, right?
Isn't that like Twilight? Isn't there like a daughter that's super powerful as well?
Yeah, his daughter. That's super powerful.
It sounds like we should just be watching Twilight.
Yeah, should I just include Twilight?
Yeah. Well, eventually the humans become the bad guys. This starts off as like a war between the werewolves and vampires, and humans are just like the backdrop. And then it turns like the humans learn about them and they're like, nah, we're the bad guys. And like, we're still fucking out.
Whoa, man is the greatest killer, guys.
You know what I mean?
Humanity sucks. It turns out we are the monsters.
Yeah. So I'm going to rank them Underworld 1, Underworld 3, 2, and then 4 and 5, if you want to fucking spend your money and waste your money, go ahead.
They're just like interchangeable if you watch them, right? Like,
is there any place to watch them all? I'm curious.
Netflix. I think Netflix has 1, 2, and 3. 4 and 5. 5 I had to order, and 4 I had on DVD because I have a 1 through 4 pack.
Who spent the most money this year?
Joe.
I bought all the hatchets, but that was my own doing. But they were all $5 a piece on Amazon.
That's not bad.
You spent the most because I'll talk about what I did.
The deal that he got on Lake Placids was crazy.
Badass. So TJ, any favorite moment or anything that you want to depart us with before we move on to Alien?
I mean, I think we're talking about like kills and gore and stuff. I think the Underworld franchise has a ton of fucking great kills and gore.
Yeah,
there's amazing fucking kills in this one, especially when it comes to werewolf stuff like that. There's like the one in, I think it's the second one, where the guy is a vampire who just has like werewolf guards, but he also has like vampire prostitutes with him the entire time. He's like a protector of like something.
Yeah, he's one of those guys who's like in exile or something.
Yeah,
but he knows everything.
Like,
he seems like a character from the Matrix.
Yeah.
And I'm
from the second one, for sure.
It's the dumbest thing, but that guy does one of the first like wing kills where he grabs him with the wings and like pulls him across the table and pulls him in, like does. I don't know. It's something about this. It's not practical. There's no practical kills. It's like probably the most heavy CGI. That's not bad CGI coming up for your franchise.
Well, like you said, the money's there in this franchise.
It's there. Yeah,
the Underworld movies. Some of the transformation effects. There are some practical transformations in the first one. Werewolf transformations that are pretty good.
Is this a bad question? Is it a bad question? Is the black guy from the first one the same black guy that plays the alien in Fifth Element?
Yes.
Why does he have to be a black guy?
No.
Nope.
No.
No, it's not the same guy.
All right.
Cut this out.
Cut out anytime we assume one black guy is another black guy, which is almost at least once an episode. I legit
thought it was the same French dude.
Yes, man, it was Orlando Jones.
No, it's a French black guy. It's not Orlando.
Yeah, Orlando Jones.
It's Le Orlando Jones. It's not Orlando.
But all in all, I love the Underworld franchise. I think some of the best, like, computer generated.
I think the action in them is legit.
Yeah.
Like
the ultraviolet bullets they use against vampires.
That's some tight ideas there.
That train scene was amazing in the first one. It's great.
Okay, Underworld 1. All right, you got to kill one. You got to fuck one.
Okay.
Underworld 1.
Yeah.
Or Equilibrium.
Underworld 1.
I don't know, man.
I'm gonna frick it and I'm gonna kill Eagle.
Because honestly, I can get rid of
Underworld...
Underworld 1 and I still get Michael Sheen in Underworld 3, and then I get Angus McFadden as the bad guy in Equilibrium. And I love them both.
See, you brought brains to the conversation. I was just going by.
No, I don't love Equilibrium as much as I love Underworld.
Really?
There we go.
I think you just ensured that Equilibrium will be a Flyover movie someday.
And
I'm fine with that.
That's great. I love talking about Fahrenheit 451.
All right, so we are.
Get it? You read a book in high school.
Oh, I did, and my teacher showed us Equilibrium to try to get us.
Oh
interested.
wow, that's funny. I was already out of high school, so.
Yeah, we get it. You're old. So we are moving on to my franchise, and I'm gonna take a break.
Oh.
TJ, time out here. I'm gonna piss because I'm pissing my pants.
All right, I'll go piss too, just to get it out.
Everyone take a pee break. Thank God. I love it.
Oh, guys, overall's not great to sit in.
I feel you got a nice little. Is there a lot of rubbing in your penis area?
Yeah, it's just everything's riding up. Oh, look at that bouillon.
One day. There's so much editing in this video that Brian's mom won't know what's coming.
Woo! That was good. I've been holding on to that since Brian was talking. I was like, I'm not gonna make it.
How's that beer you bought?
All right, Joe.
How's that beer you bought?
If you like Belgian beers, it's pretty good. I'm not a huge fan of Belgians, but I mean, I'll drink it. But I just picked it because of the bottle. It was
I did the same thing with this because of Halloween, and it's a really, really sweet sour. It's like tart, and it's okay. Like it's grown on me, but it's definitely like one of them is.
Yeah.
I have so much hair in my mouth. There's hair everywhere.
Oh, by the way, I want to get a good before we
picture.
Record. Yeah.
All right, let's take the picture.
Let's
now.
do that now. Let me get my other
Let me
glove.
get my teeth in. I'll hit the.
Let's do one. Here we go.
All right.
That's good.
All right.
Clap it up.
2-minute cut.
Wait, let me see the.
Put that promo picture up on on Halloween, but before the episode drops.
Yeah,
drop it in
episode,
the morning or
See,
something.
you gotta drop some fucking episodes, bro.
The one's already dropped right now.
All right.
Just save it. Save it till after Halloween. Who cares?
1 hour and 8 minutes.
Oh, we're tight. We're doing good.
Yeah.
Nice.
So we got just Lake Placid next, which I feel like we've only.
And then whose pick is it gonna be? TJ's.
TJ. Yeah. All right. So TJ here. All right, guys. So the moment you've been waiting for this entire fucking podcast, we've been teasing you. 1977's Ridley Scott, Sigourney Weaver. We're gonna talk about aliens.
I thought we were going to talk about Oliver Platt.
Oh, okay. So I shot myself in the foot. I designed the game. I designed the categories, and for some fucking reason, I picked Lake Placid.
But no lie, that reptile category was so tempting.
So enticing. I wanted somebody else to pick it.
I was so glad that somebody took the plunge because I desperately wanted to, but I took the coward's way out.
Yeah.
So did I.
All
What was your choices?
Luckily for me, Voodoo had 5 out of 6 movies. There was a bundle for $7, so I was able to.
Regularly, like over $60. That's an insane deal.
Yeah, and for some fucking reason, it skips over 2, so it goes from
2 or
1,
3,
3, 4, 5, and 6.
Were you able to find 2?
Luckily for me, Crackle Crackle had 2 for free.
Nice.
The first movie obviously went to theaters, massive hit.
It's a real movie. The first one's a real movie.
The rest were made for the Sci-Fi Channel. So I have no clue why number 2 was out of the bundle. For the most
Probably
part,
different production company.
That's what I thought. But if they're all for the Sci-Fi Channel,
exactly,
right?
all for the Sci-Fi Channel. So I have no clue. And if you look at the posters, you will see a clue as to where we're going in the franchise. Like the first one, it's pretty straightforward horror franchise poster. The second one has a hand in the mouth of the croc, so you're like, all right, not as cool looking. The rest, with the exception of the last one, which is a dark moment in the franchise, has a woman in the mouth of the croc. Because from 3 to 5, there's a lot of titties.
It's all about babes.
Yeah, it's all about the babes.
So there's skin flicks after a certain
bitch.
So let's talk about the one that everybody loves, Lake Placid, 1999, with a fucking stellar cast. Go ahead.
Which could be a Flyover movie on any other episode.
Oh, 100%.
Absolutely.
I considered this one. I considered Volcano, Dante's Peak.
Dante's Peak is the better movie. So,
but it's the same, it's the same vibe. But I landed on Twister, which I think is a better choice.
Twister is the best of those movies, yeah.
Yeah. So the stellar cast includes Bill Pullman, Bridget Fonda, Oliver Platt, Brendan Gleeson, and Betty White.
I love you, Brendan.
This is way before anybody knew how good Brendan Gleeson was.
Oh,
this is
yeah.
This is like one of those embarrassing moments in Hollywood where it's like you had access to Brendan Gleeson and the best thing you could think to do with him was put him in this.
Make him a sheriff. So all right. So how about
have an equally fat Oliver Platt make fat jokes at him for some reason?
It's so good. Now, Oliver Platt in this movie.
He's great.
Give yourself a nice Ready to Rumble and Lake Placid double feature.
Ooh, that's great.
I'm more of a Flatliners guy myself. But...
Let me set up, actually, before I talk about the first one. So welcome to the franchise, the horror franchise with sad white people that think going to the lake is the same as going to the beach for some fucking reason.
It's just colder.
Film franchise filled with actresses that sadly thought that this was their big break in their industry, which was not. A franchise that
watch a movie and you're like, and you see an actress, you're like, don't get topless for this, honey. You can do better. Don't do it.
For the Sci-Fi Channel. A franchise that squeezes the life out of the premise that barely gave enough for one movie. Like the first movie was an hour and 28 minutes.
Yeah, it's really tight.
They barely had enough for one movie, and they went 6 movies. So, and also,
I have one question. Did they get Betty White back for any sequels?
I'm gonna slowly reveal what happened to Betty White.
Okay, all right.
And also a franchise. Hey man, I'm selling this. Okay, I have the worst franchise of all. Okay, so
it's true. We are closing on a big down note here.
All right, so that's why I left it for last. Nobody has to watch this. This is for us.
So many people have tuned out. So many people. At the pee break, we lost Ryan might still be here, but Steph is gone for sure.
Steph, we have beef.
All right, Ryan, leave a comment if you're currently listening to this.
Let us know.
And also a franchise that has Crocs that can rip your head and dick clean off without any hesitation, destroy boats and helicopters, but for some reason they cannot kill Robert Englund or Jancy Butler for how many times they bite them. Like, it's fucking crazy how many times they survive. All right, so with that out of the way, let's go into Lake Placid number 1. We're in Maine, Lake Placid. Brendan Gleeson is playing. All right, so actually, let me add, in every single movie except the last one, there's a sheriff and there's a representative of the Fish and Wildlife Bureau. And there are either an outsider, which in this case is Bridget Fonda, or a group of teenagers. That's pretty much every single fucking movie has that array of cast. So the first one is
How
Brendan
close
Gleeson.
was this movie to Kiss of the Dragon? Bridget Fonda was having a real
Bridget
moment.
Fonda was 1999. Is Lake Placid, I think 2002 is Kiss of the Dragon.
Placids 98.
Kiss of the Dragon, maybe the best American-made Jet Li movie.
Jet Li movie, yeah, it's up there for sure.
Oh, she was that. Oh shit.
Yeah, she has
I know the movie you're talking.
She has a bunch of good movies, and she retired. I think she's married to Danny Elfman, but don't quote me on that.
She is. No, she is. I watched Lake Placid recently. She is married to Danny Elfman, and she is retired, and she's pretty good.
She's pretty good.
I love when actresses are like, "No, I'm good."
Yeah, I'm good.
Nah,
yeah, she's
I'm
the
married.
niece of Jane Fonda and Henry Fonda and all that fun stuff. So what I was gonna say? Oh, Brendan Gleeson is the sheriff of this town. He fucking hates fish and wildlife because he thinks that every single one is too sarcastic and too
Yeah, like a smartass. Like
all of them supposedly make fun of him. All of them supposedly look down upon him. Like this is his chick. Like every single scene that Brendan Gleeson has, he's complaining that somebody else is making fun of him or thinks he's smarter than him.
Can we do something right now? What if he was like a far descendant of the character that was in Gangs of New York?
That would be awesome.
he was an even further descendant of his character from Braveheart. It's always every Brendan Gleeson is like the same bloodline.
So in Bruges,
Bruges
would come after.
Also, that movie where he's like a security guard, Don Cheadle's in it. I don't know. It's on my list.
All right, so they're investigating.
Tomorrow. That's another one.
Wait. Oh, so he's accompanying for some fucking reason. None of these movies make logical sense. So I gave up after the second one in terms of trying to understand why things are happening this way. So he's accompanying a fish and wildlife guy for some fucking reason to tag otters. He's in the lake. Brendan Gleeson, the sheriff of the fucking town, he's driving him on the boat to tag otters. A croc comes and just decapitates him. Fish and Wildlife come, which is Bill Pullman. They send Bridget Fonda,
who only gets sent there because her boyfriend's cheating on her.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
I mean, and isn't her boyfriend Alan Arkin from H2O?
Yes. So they sent Bridget Fonda from the museum. She's an archaeologist, blah, 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 and something. Not archaeologist, she's something else. But she's sent there because she's being cheated on and they want her out of the way. So everybody convenes in Lake Placid to investigate all the random killings of this croc. Out of nowhere, Oliver Platt, which idolizes and deitizes crocs,
He's like a croc expert, but also like an insane billionaire or something.
Rich. He's like if Elon Musk.
He's like a rich guy, but he legit has crocodile expertise, right?
Yeah.
This has the same energy as Godzilla 99.
Also, he's got a helicopter that's painted up like a croc that is dope.
Yeah. So he lands on his
helicopter. If I ever got stupid rich, I would get that helicopter. Like if I was like replicating dumb Hollywood props, like part of my house would look like the Golden Girls' house because my wife would really like that. But I would have a stupid helicopter that was painted up like a crocodile, like Lake Placid style.
All right.
I'd have the Dumb and Dumber van.
Somebody shot a gun.
That's a good one too.
Somebody shot a gun next to my apartment, so cool.
What?
Hey, you're getting out of there soon, man. You got a house going up. Oh,
yeah.
One street over.
Yeah, right next door. So, all right, where was that? Oh, Oliver Platt comes in, and it starts like there's like a frenemy situation with Brendan Gleeson. The funniest bit of the entire fucking movie is Brendan Gleeson falling into Oliver Platt's traps that he set up for the crocs.
Yeah, I thought it was Oliver Platt banging Patton Oswalt's wife.
He doesn't bang her. He doesn't
He's
get
gonna
the bang.
though. He was gonna.
Oh, she says, "I'll fuck you if you get out of the water," because he was trying to get the croc to come to him. Oh, okay. So everybody's hunting for this fucking croc. We have the croc expert. We have the random museum lady. We have Fish and Wildlife, which is Bill Pullman. We have the sheriff of the town, and all of them convene into this lake house, not Keanu's, Betty White's, and they interview her.
Lake House would be so much better with Betty White instead of Sandra Bullock. I mean, no offense to Sandy, but like, what a crazy movie that would make. That would mean so much.
Well, it would just be the follow-up to the proposal.
And Betty White has the best lines in the entire fucking movie.
This was the first time I ever got to see like dirty mouth Betty White, and it was a pleasure.
Probably a lot of people.
So
she reprised this role in Hard Rain. If anybody's a fan of Hard Rain, you get to see a little more of this.
I've seen it once, but I can't recall it.
I almost feel like it's the same lady.
All right, so they ask her about her husband because nobody has seen her husband in years. Well, they ask him how he died.
It's after you see her leading the cow out, right? Like they show her like
no. That's later.
Okay.
So they ask her what the fuck is happening with her husband, blah blah blah. So she first says, "Why, yes, I killed him. He was going crazy. He asked me to kill him. He had dementia. So I hit him with a skillet and I buried him out by the yard." So she flat out admits to killing a person, and they do nothing. Wow. They're like, "All right, cool. Thank you for the information. Bye." And they leave, and they keep hunting the croc. One night, they're just by the lake, and they see Betty White feeding a cow to the croc.
I love it. She's just like walking a blindfolded cow out to the side of the lake.
So then that's when she shifts her story and she starts saying, yes, my husband was depressed and he saw this croc and he started following him, feeding him, and we became like quasi parental figures to him.
But then like he accidentally got et.
And the croc killed him. So they set up traps. They're gonna kill the croc. Betty White is under surveillance with a cop, where she has like the best line, which is like, "Am I a dick if I'm rooting for the croc?" So she wanted the croc to kill everybody. They kill the croc. He gets stuck in.
Well, I feel like she's the audience. Like, an audience in a horror movie is there to see the kills. And that's Betty White.
Convoluted plan because Oliver.
When the croc comes out of the water and snaps dude's head off, just clean off his shoulders. That's one of the best moments.
They repeat that kill a couple of times, but that one's obviously the best because it has
when he's leaning over the side of the boat and it's just like. It looks like a spray of water takes his head off. It just comes up so quick.
So the movies have before I finish first one, since you mentioned the decapitation. Decapitation happens multiple times in this fucking franchise. But when I started watching these movies, I thought to myself, like, all right, the first one is obviously fun. It does have like a very annoying humor. I didn't laugh as much as I thought I would. There's a lot of like.
It's pretty sophomoric, like it's pretty juvenile style.
Yeah, it felt like it felt like a Marvel movie, to be honest with you. Like everybody was trying to be quippy, everybody was trying to be funny.
It's very quippy. It's like shockingly like.
And also, once Betty White comes in the movie, you all look like fools. Like nobody's gonna be funnier than Betty White. She's so fucking good. Like
she also die. She also like when she shows up on screen in that first one, like she's like, "Oh, I know what movie I'm in."
Yeah.
Oh, she knew 100% what she was in.
When she delivers the line, "This is where if I had a dick, I'd tell you to suck it," is like, like I can't. I purposely wanted to like play it down when I said it because I cannot hope to ever like just hit the heights of the way she nailed that. It's so funny.
I think this is what I tell you to suck it.
Yeah. So Betty White for sure is like. I feel like everybody knew what movie they were in except Bill Pullman. Bill Pullman was stuck between Spaceballs and Independence Day in his performance. He was like he
Bill
never.
Pullman's thing, right? He's the ultimate straight man. He's always going to be earnest, no matter what. Yeah,
but
like,
Hatfield and McCoy.
But in Spaceballs, he knew. In Spaceballs, he knew what movie he was in.
Yeah, because
here
Mel
he
Brooks
was
was
kind of
like
being
Bill.
like the romantic lead in an action thriller, and everybody else was just like, nope,
Well,
this
this
is not
movie,
it, bro.
Well, if you're just looking at Bill Pullman in this movie on a rewatch, and like trying to remember from when you saw it when you were younger, it's a little disappointing because he's playing how everyone else is acting in like Anaconda. How if you watch Anaconda, everyone's like super serious, and the straight man, there's none of this comedic.
There's no funny on a
like no, there isn't. But Bill Pullman's playing that same. Like he wants to be the hero in Volcano.
Because like
he wants to be the hero.
Everybody in the movie is corny. Then there's nothing to say. He's the one there to
yeah.
This is really happening, so it allows Oliver Platt and everybody to really go off. I think that's perfect. I think he's doing a great job. He's doing what he's meant to do.
I think he's doing what he's meant to do. I think he's the wrong lead for this movie. I think he would have been better, weirdly enough, with like a Tommy Lee Jones and like from Volcano or something like that. Like someone with just a tad more charisma.
Maybe. But all right, so let me close
I think he's pitch perfect for this first one.
Let me close out the first one because I have not a lot, but
I don't have that hard of feelings about Lake Placid, so
no, let's
Lake
get
Placid
a
is fun.
fight about this.
So Oliver Platt and Bridget Fonda convinced everybody to save the croc because it's this rare species that came from.
And there were two, so you were able to kill one.
Well, they
killed
up one.
They used the gun.
It's the Meg rules. Only in the Meg, I think they kill both.
Yeah,
they
fuck
killed
the Meg.
one with this.
Hey, the sequel's got a new director, and actually, it's a guy I like. So maybe.
Okay.
Cool. Good luck, Jay Washington.
You hear that noise?
Go ahead, Jusef.
Yeah, there is some. I'm hearing some feedback. Anybody?
What's that fucking noise?
It's gone now.
All right. So Lake Placid. Oliver Platt convinces everybody yeah, everybody convinces fucking Platt convinces everybody to keep him alive. So the ending of the movie is this fucking huge croc on a
Free Willy ending, right? They're transporting him.
They're taking him away. Before that, Brendan Gleeson gets to use his fucking badass gun that a hick sheriff has in a hick town for some fucking reason. And the best joke is, I think it's Oliver Platt asking him, so how was it shooting? And he's like, it was fine. Like it wasn't. Like he's been in the entire fucking movie trying to use that gun and nobody lets him use it. And he's like, that's fine.
I want to see their buddy cop.
Yeah, it's a shame that we haven't seen Oliver Platt and Brendan Gleeson in something together because they are really funny together.
So what I thought before watching this movie, so I got the longest franchise. Joe had 4, Brian and TJ had 5, and I had 6. So when I watched,
honestly, it's on the short end for us in general.
Yeah. So when I watched this, when I was gonna watch this series, I assumed it was gonna be a gradual decline from the first one, but there is a steep drop from first to
How
second.
many years between the first one and the second?
1999 is the first one. 2007.
Okay, so they really were like so it was like 2007. They were like, what can we dredge up? What's a thing that's got like a nostalgia?
So the biggest name they got there's 2 biggest names, but I don't want to spoil her just yet. But the biggest name in terms of the lead is John Schneider from Smallville's and Dukes of Hazzard fame.
I have no idea who that is.
He's the dad in Smallville. He's one of the Dukes of Hazzards.
If he wasn't Lex Luthor or Superman, I don't know who he was.
He's the
I didn't watch
Smallville. He's like the blonde dude. Nobody cares. That's what I'm trying to say here.
I know
he's the lead.
Yeah, I know he is.
So this fucking movie takes place, I think, 10 to 15 years. So this is gonna be a theme in this franchise.
We didn't mention at the end of the first one, Betty White is feeding babies, so we know that there are more.
Yeah. She's feeding babies. Yes. Correct. Thank you. Yes,
and
because that's important.
Placid is a real
place. we move on. Like it's 10 to 15 years later. We got a new sheriff. He's the guy from Smallville. He has a 39-year-old son visiting. because they're divorced, and he gets him for the summer. And there's disturbance in the water again, and people are dying. So immediately he connects the dots because we have the past history from Betty White. He goes to the house of Betty White.
Whoa, Betty White's in this one?
No.
Damn it.
Cloris Leachman plays.
Oh, that's pretty dope, though. That's good.
Yeah, that's why I was setting it up, man. I'm selling this shit. Cloris Leachman plays the sister that takes over her house after Betty White dies. So they ask her, like, what the fuck is going on? There's death. She's like, my sister was the crazy one. Don't fucking bother me with Crocs. Get the fuck out of my house. All right, cool. Bye, Cloris. This movie is so goddamn bad. Like, I'm not even trying to be funny. I'm not trying to be like, make fun of the movie. Like, every single aspect of this goddamn movie, the entire fucking movie is ADR. Like, nobody in the department, nobody in the sound department was able to capture sound during filming. Nobody. Like, not a single moment in this fucking movie has, like, lip syncing. It was like they filmed it in China, and it was in Chinese, and then they fucking translated it to English. They felt like this. And there was one character which was the worst of all, which was the opening sequence are these two redneck dudes fishing, and the fat friend dies, and the other dude is trying to report the crime, and nobody believes him because he's a pothead. Because potheads make up crime all the time.
Here, Brian, let's go.
So every single line of dialogue.
That's one of my favorite tropes. I love it.
So every single line.
Not enough of our franchises had pothead characters. I'm glad Lake Placid brought it. Like, if we'd have been doing like some 80s franchises, we'd have got some pothead characters, but not. Thankfully, Lake Placid came through.
So this dude, it felt like he wasn't available to do the voiceover.
Just look at this bean. Oh, he took his vagina off. Sorry.
Because he's like a skinny, he's a skinny bald dude, and the voice that they put over him does not match with the guy that's doing it. So it's extremely jarring and distracting to watch him talk during the entire movie. So the premise of the movie is like the Crocs have come back. The sister of Betty White is there. She's obviously the fucking one feeding the Crocs again. And we have this teenager that's played by a 39-year-old that goes away with some friends that he just met. And now the sheriff and... fuck, I forgot about this. I just remembered. So the sheriff has like a love interest.
This is only the second one. You need to pick up the pace here a little.
Dude, this is I'm gonna pick up after this one because the rest just blend in. But this one is so bad that it's so the fish and wildlife person is a lady in this one. They switched.
Oh, they made a woman do a strong role.
And they have like this flirty relationship where they used to date, but he was obsessed with his ex-wife. They stopped dating. The first fucking scene of this movie, they're in the lake, right, with her, and she's like, oh, I see something in the lake, and she strips down to her underwear. Like, she's a federal agent. She's a fucking
That reminds me of Deep Blue Sea, where they're like, oh, you got to stand on something rubber, take off your wetsuit and stand on it. Like, you scientist.
But in Deep Blue Sea,
scientist.
But in Deep Blue Sea, she keeps her socks on for some reason.
Oh, electricity.
Right.
Duh.
So I'm gonna skip forward. Like, people die. It's the same shit. Every single movie is the same shit. A Croc's killing people. This is the premise of the entire fucking movies. Two notable moments. One, the reason why the Crocs have been growing so fucking fast, Cloris is feeding them FDA rejected meat. So the antibiotics or the biochemicals, are growing them. The second one is Cloris' death. So the 39-year-old teenager is trying to defend this new lady that he met because the lady is with Cloris and she's like talking shit about the Crocs. She's like, oh, the Crocs are horrible, they're ugly, fuck them, blah, blah, blah. So Cloris is like, I'm going to feed you to the Crocs.
She didn't like
she's
that.
pushing her towards the Crocs, and the 39-year-old teenager comes with a ladder and throws the ladder at her, hits Cloris, and she falls into the water, and the Crocs eats her.
Yeah, I like that.
Good shit. So the movie ends with them killing everybody. All right, cool. Second one, the biggest name is Michael Ironside. He's like,
oh, hey, now I feel like you took a step up.
Yeah,
Michael Ironside.
he's a sheriff in this
like
one.
Upgrade.
This is the first instance of nudity.
You said these were produced for Sci-Fi. Sci-Fi is a TV channel. They don't do nudity, right?
They made unrated versions. Unrated.
All right.
And those are the ones that I watched on Vudu. The movie opens with a couple having sex on the mud water of the lake. Like, they're covered in mud.
Something that I always ran into in the Friday the 13th movies. There are some nasty ass looking lakes in the Friday the 13th movies. People go swimming naked in them all the time.
They're disgusting.
There are multiple scenes in 3 to 5 which have nudity and where women are just topless in the shore, like maybe 3 or 4 steps.
I feel like I saw one of these sequels where there's a topless girl and she gets like chomped right on the beach. She's out there like prancing with her titties out, and then she gets chomped.
So the movie opens with a couple having sex, right? And she's like, "Oh yeah, give it to me," blah blah blah. And a Croc comes, bites his dick, pulls him, and he like freezes on her vagina, face first. And she's like, "Yeah, that's what I'm talking about." And then the Croc just pulls him away. And she's like, "Ah!" Running away naked.
Like she doesn't realize that the Croc's already got him, and she's like, "Yeah, go down on me" or whatever.
Oh yeah, she's like, "Oh yeah, finally somebody."
But did he do good? He was good.
I don't know. It was quick, like always. So in this one, we follow the nephew of Cloris and Betty White. So he's like taking over the lake house.
I like that. That's the tie-in. Like that's the connecting tissue of these movies.
The lake house
family.
Yeah.
So,
well, what else are you gonna do?
Yeah. So they want to sell it. The wife of the nephew is like, "I don't want to be here. Your one crazy aunt fed Crocs. Your second crazy aunt fed Crocs. I don't want to be here. Let's just sell it and move the fuck away." And they're convinced to stay. And their kid starts feeding Crocs.
Of course,
so there's Crocs here. But here we are introduced to the one character that, for some fucking reason, stayed for the rest of the franchise, which is Yancy Butler's cougar hunter persona-ish. So she's a hunter. All right, guys,
I don't know who Yancy Butler is. Was there something? Am I supposed to be familiar with her?
Google it and you'll see who she is. So Yancy Butler plays
she's a Speaker of the House. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So Yancy Butler plays a cougar hunter that is
Yancy Butler, not Nancy, right?
Yancy.
Like so Yasmin Bleeth.
All right. So try to follow me on this logic. She is contracted. She's hired by a guy.
Hard Target.
What? Yeah, Hard Target and all that.
Okay.
She's in the 90s action movies. She's contracted by a guy that is trying to find his girlfriend.
I remember her.
She is contracted by a guy that's trying to find his girlfriend in a lake, in Lake Placid. Like, it's not like he's trying to find her in the fucking
dragging
Amazon
for her
jungle.
body is what we're talking about here.
Okay. Can you
But the girlfriend was with a 45-year-old teenager and a 39-year-old teenager from college. They're just hanging out. They're just drinking beer at the beach, and he's trying to find her for an unexplained reason. Like, she grew.
Let me just say, if I knew we were allowed to go this in depth on every movie, I might have done my final destination a little bit differently I feel like I underplayed my franchise for time.
We're closing out on me, okay? Nobody's watching me. We established this.
I still have to sit here, and it's getting on. Come on, wrap it up.
This is me. This is me time.
Hey man, rank them. Just
okay.
No, I'm kidding. So
this cup, represents the end of the beer I have here.
No, yeah. So Jancy Butler plays Poacher, and they team up with Fish and Wildlife, the nephew, and the sheriff, and they kill all the crocs. Fourth one, for some fucking reason, despite the fact that Jancy Butler ends up all fucked up, she is now the Fish and Wildlife lady. Even though she started off as being
a government job.
Yeah, she got a government job because she was a poacher hunter that celebrated killing a giraffe at a zoo. She's now a Fish and Wildlife.
Giraffe at a zoo?
Yeah. I'm telling you, dude, there's so much shit to talk about, but you're cutting me off, so I'm gonna speed up.
No, I had a better franchise and I had to rush, so you don't deserve to tell us what you're
I get it. So here we're introduced to Robert Englund, Lake Placid, the final chapter. Even though it's the fourth one, it's the final chapter. So here, Jancy is the Fish and Wildlife. Robert Englund becomes the poacher hunter here. They're trying to get the DNA of the crocs. Crocs kill everybody.
So she starts out as the poacher hunter in the last one and becomes the Bill Pullman, and then we need to bring in a new Oliver Platt. Robert Englund becomes the new Oliver Platt.
No, in Anaconda versus, which is the fifth one, Robert Englund is still poacher. Despite that, he dies in the second one. All right, dude. In the final one, Jancy
he dies Butler, and then he comes back.
Dude, I'm trying to. Okay.
Joe hasn't said a word in like 30 minutes.
In the
I don't know what we're talking
Joe's
about.
Joe's hair is getting better. It's getting more luxurious.
In the final chapter, Jancy Butler and Robert Englund appear to have died. They appeared in the next one. Jancy Butler now is the sheriff of the town. She gets a downgrade. She's no longer a federal agent. She's now a sheriff.
She's the sheriff, okay.
Yeah. Hey, Jusef, you know what time it is for? The ratings phase!
Oh, no.
Robert Englund
the
lost an eye.
The rankings phase.
A hand and a feet. So he's now like a hook. No feet, no eye. So in the town, they build like a Jurassic Park. So they put a fence around the entire lake.
They're fully embracing we're the town that has giant crocs.
Yeah, they're cool with it. Robert Englund.
Weren't the Olympics held in Lake fucking Placid at one point?
Yeah, so we're moving on. We're moving on to Lake Placid versus.
Move on to the Olympics.
The thing about Lake Placid is that the lake in the original movie is not Lake Placid. It's a lake that is there's a line in the movie somewhere where they're like, they almost called this one Lake Placid.
Oh no,
that's it.
Right now, no.
All right, so Lake Placid versus Anaconda is the fifth one. So Robert Englund takes this fucking expedition to the middle of the jungle, and they're gonna impregnate an anaconda with the DNA of the croc. So
okay, I'm back. You have me. You have my interest.
So they can
have my attention.
They can have a hybrid of an anaconda and a croc.
Talk to me.
Shit happens. Anaconda breaks free, kills everybody, and escapes into the middle of the jungle. Now we have to go into the jungle, kill the anaconda, and get the babies before they hatch in the wild.
I have a question.
So is in this one is the Lake Placid croc the good guy, and we have to use the croc to hunt the anaconda? Is that what we're doing here?
Wait. Is there a sex scene?
No, also, is this the same anaconda?
Shut up, Joe.
Franchise?
Is there a sex scene?
No sex scene.
Fuck.
No sex scene, and yes, it's supposedly the same anaconda. It's the same weird, unique species. And there's a business lady that's a sociopath. Whatever, we're skipping because I'm not supposed to talk about this franchise. A guy gets eaten by a snake. He blows himself up. You're just not supposed to take
more time than I took for a much better franchise.
Bro, I haven't even talked for 20 minutes. You talk for 28.
Oh, damn, this motherfucker's timing me and shit. Look at this.
I got facts on my hand.
Super producer.
So whatever, they killed everybody, but in the end, the babies hatch. So we're left in this cliffhanger, right? So I'm moving on to the last one because I'm fucking tired of this bullshit.
I have a question.
Go ahead. I'm trying to finish. But go ahead.
An anaconda and a crocodile fuck?
No, they're injected.
They were trying to get them to fuck.
Them.
Oh,
artificial insemination.
Go.
Oh,
I want to hear this.
I forgot to mention in the previous one, in the fourth one, they introduced croc vision. So you get to see what the croc sees, which is just
cool. I've seen the Evil Dead before.
Is one of the Betty White ancestors still in the movie? That's what I need to know.
What?
Is there a Betty White ancestor still in the movie? That's what I want to know.
In the last one, no.
All
right, so the last one, the very, very last one is called Lake Placid Legacy. And this is 2008. And the biggest name in this movie is Joe Pantaleone.
2008?
Wait, Joey Pants?
18.
You got Joey?
Oh, wow.
You got Joey Pants?
Joey Pants is in this movie. And this is by far, dude, this entire franchise sucks. Honestly, it sucks.
This is the redemption arc, though, right?
18. To hold up for the rest. The CGI is horrible. The acting is fucking horrible. The logic is horrible. But this one is by far the worst one because it tried to be serious.
Oh,
no. It was the greedy reboot of the entire franchise. So this one erases all the sequels that we just watched. It did the Halloween shit.
It's just a full-on sequel to the first one.
Yes, this is a full-on sequel 25 years after the first one. Nobody knows why Lake Placid was shut off. Is it nuclear testing? Is it a secret military base? So we're following.
Lame.
Yeah, no, dude, we're following an environmental group, which is in competition with another environmental group, and they want to get.
They normally do.
Yeah, like kind of like Twister, like two groups are just fighting over the secret.
When when like the bad guy is a person who is better at getting funding for their scientific project.
Yeah, exactly. So the main guy, have you guys seen Schitt's Creek?
Yeah, of course. I love Schitt's Creek.
He's the guy with the beard in the first season.
Yeah. Oh, Mutt.
He's the protagonist. And yeah, and
so
the movie
we're talking
ends.
about a Canadian production here.
Yeah, and the movie ends. So that's my Lake Placid
franchise. To it? You don't want to tell us anything about that final one? It just ends.
Nope.
The movie ends.
Is by far the most boring bullshit I've ever watched. No titties, no comedy.
Yeah,
no
at least it's funny. It's like sometimes a movie that's worse, that's quote unquote worse, is still more fun.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. My favorite one after the sequel.
FYI, Jusef costume changed to Brosnan now.
Yeah.
Just with jaundice. Brosnan with jaundice.
How everybody's like films like we have what? What's the most one? Who has 6?
That's Jusef, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, has any of these films past 3 been better after the fact, like Fast and Furious style?
I think mine was.
Well, I think Final Destination came back around 5 as like a top
Final
3. I feel like 1, 2, and 5 is the trilogy.
Yeah.
Well, I should answer honestly and say no, but I had a blast with the one that I wanted to talk about, but then Brian was a dick about it.
If you got something else to say, but I'm just saying, like, I had a really legit good friend. I have like 6 pages of notes, and I barely skimmed them.
I'm not gonna say it because everybody has watched Final Destination. Nobody wants to hear about Final Destination. Everybody wants to hear about Lake Placid.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, I'm with it.
Like, I have the best franchise of the whole show, and I had pages of cool things to say. And I was like sitting here listening to you ramble on about these boring ass sci-fi movies. I'm not fucking kill myself.
All right, so let me close out with my rankings. Is obviously the first one is good. Fourth one is the best out of the shit. It's the funniest, has good action, and it has kind of like a easy to follow plot. Probably third, second, and then that bullshit that happened in the end. Best kill was the guy that was taking a piss out of the boat, and the croc precisely bit off his dick.
Just nips off just the dick.
Just the dick, and then kills him. That's the best kill. And that's it for me, man. I'm sorry that I made you guys wait for this bullshit.
No, honestly, our true fans stuck it out because they know that no matter how bad the franchise, we will bring the funny.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this was hilarious. So TJ, what the fuck are you gonna make me watch after I watch 6 Lake Placid movies?
Nothing.
Man, it is rough coming off of like that and then having to do a TJ movie. That's like a double hitter, right?
It's gonna be rough, guys.
I'm questioning why I'm here.
I just want you guys to know that I love you. Happy Halloween. This is dropping on the day of the blue moon. I think it's supposed to be a blue moon that night, right? It's really crazy Halloween moon that night.
I saw you standing alone.
So I was thinking, what was the last movie I gave you guys? Does anyone remember? I don't know. Yeah.
Oh, Howard the Duck.
Oh, all right.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's gonna be just as bad. Ready for this one? Jusef, you might enjoy this. Ready? We're gonna go for the John Leguizamo classic, The Pest.
Oh fuck! Come on!
Yeah.
I was old enough to know this was bad when it was released in the theater.
We're doing The Pest, and I want everyone to be very upset about that. I know Jusef is. We're gonna go John Leguizamo's The Pest with another. Yep, we're gonna get weird with it.
Guys, The Pest also stars that pedophile from Howard the Duck.
And
so TJ's on fucking
Jeffrey Jones.
All right, guys, where can the people fucking find you?
You guys are on Flyover State of Film YouTube right now. You guys can check out all the latest episodes you have. This is episode 60. Check out episode 59, 58. Flybys coming out. We got a bracket coming out.
Honestly, if you're seeing this, there should be a dearth of fucking content because, like,
TJ has been promising all those episodes for a while, though. I don't know.
TJ, for some reason, we record bi-weekly, and TJ releases monthly, so we're like backed up on fucking episodes now.
He's gonna have to erase something from his memory because of all the fucking episodes he has saved up. Joe, where can the people find you?
I think we did that bracket before we even chose our franchises. Like, that bracket is just hanging out.
I had the other day he mentioned the bracket, and it's like, fuck yeah.
I forgot we even did it.
Yeah, great.
Bro,
don't ask me.
It's funny.
What.
We make fun, but it's like it's all well and good because it's actually because TJ got a better job and he is busier and he's like a more functioning adult. And in the time of COVID, when so many people are struggling, like TJ actually like
moved amen
and got a better job. So like we make fun, but it's all but we love the man because he's bettering himself. But come on, release our fucking podcast.
Yeah, release that episode, bitch. Joe, where can the people find you?
Good point. You could find me watching The Pest on repeat until we record at Chendango 1 and probably just being a sad boy.
Brian.
You know, you can find me at Hercules. I don't know what else to say. This show is something, boy. I tell you, you know, it's been a long, strange trip.
All right. I made a bunch of reviews for horror movie on my website.
Oh, check out the review for Alien, Mr. I want to try and horn in on Brian. We all know what Brian's favorite franchise is, but I'm going to take my I think I have things to say.
I have things to say. I said something. I wrote words. One of the movies that come. Bye.
Bye.
Happy Halloween.
God,
Happy Halloween.
This shirt is soaked.